stop and smell the flowers if you like to climb the tree.
Hello and welcome back. Today's reveal is going to be 5 different dresses that I've made over the past few weeks. Some of them I've told you about on previous vlogs, and a couple of them have snuck their way in for things that I haven't quite finished and that I've got finished off over the last few weeks. So it's Sunday evening. As you can see, the sun's setting. You might actually be able to see in the background that my next door neighbours are currently having a barbecue. You can see all the smoke rising in the window frames, but I couldn't find the right time to shoot tonight's video, so I figured we'd enjoy the sun going down together. So I've poured myself a nice long gin and tonic. Lovely. This is a new one that hubby bought for me yesterday. I'm not sure if you're gin fans, but I am. And it's called Daffy's, and it's got quite a funky label on it. This was on special offer in Waitrose, so he snapped me up a bottle, and it is very, very nice. So the first dress that I want to show you this evening is my Doris dress, which is the Sew Over It pattern. It's the one that I mentioned a couple of vlogs ago. I did make a bit of a boo-boo though, because I told you that it didn't have a zip in it, and it does actually have a zip in it. There's a zip in the side, but it does have some nice little ties at the back, so I'm going to show you. So I'll just step back a little bit and you can see. So it's a really nice full skirt. It's very twirly. It's made up of 7 panels altogether in the skirt. The bodice has got buttons down the front. Now granted, I don't actually think these match on reflection. They do clash quite violently, so I might change these to a lilac-y colour. You can see they're a really nice hot pink cerise colour. I do find it stretches a little bit across the bodice there. It doesn't fit amazingly well, but it is very, very comfortable. And it's got its little side zip in here under the arm, and that went in nicely. One of my favourite things is the ties on the back. So you can see these just cinch in your waistband, and they are a really nice little finishing touch, and I do really like those. I can't quite decide whether I like this dress or not. It feels very comfortable. The fabric that I've chosen means it will be lovely and cool in the summer, but I can't help but think that the design is just a little bit mumsy. But I don't know. I'll see how much wear I get out of it in the summer. It's certainly a sensible grown-up frock, and I'm not sure if that's me. So I do like it. The pattern sewed up really nicely. It's actually the first Sew Over It pattern that I've ever worked with that I couldn't find a fault with. There was no flaws in the pattern. It was very easy to follow, very easy to understand. The only thing that I did that they don't tell you to do in the pattern is I did mark my letters of each pattern piece for the skirt onto the fabric panels as I took the pins off with a friction pen. And that just helped me where it said join H to G and G to I and I to J. It helped me get all the skirt pieces in the right order. And yes, they do all have notches in them, but it was just that much easier because they had the letters written on the pieces of fabric, and I just ironed that off afterwards. So that just helped me. So top tip for anyone else who might get a bit confused with putting the skirt together. But other than that, really nice dress, like it. Don't think I'll make it again. I'm going to let my mum try this one on actually, because I think she might quite like it. She might inherit this if it fits her, or I might make her another one. But I'm not going to make it again for myself. But that's my personal opinion. So it makes up very nicely, and you might want to give it a go yourself. So I'm going to go and try something else on now for you and show you the second dress that So this dress is another Haynes Sylvie dress. So I'll show you the pattern for that. This is the Sylvie. I have made it before. A couple of vlogs back you saw me wearing my green daisy print Sylvie dress. And I really, really like this one. It's made in the haberdashery fabric that I showed you a few weeks back. So it's got all little scissors and threads and spools of cotton all over it. Again, it's got the lovely big pockets so you can have all your tissues and goodness knows what in it. And it's just a nice below the knee dress. It's extremely comfortable. The changes that I made to this particular one, I put the waistband in the right way up this time, and so it fits nicely. I haven't interfaced the waistband. You are supposed to, but I haven't, and I haven't lined the waistband either. I wanted this dress to be a more comfortable everyday dress. It didn't really need all the structure in it, so I haven't worried about that. I've just overlocked the raw edges on the inside. And I haven't bound the armholes and the neck facing. I have actually made my own facings from the pattern, and I just think that gives it a bit of a neater finish. So it's just faced around the upper part of the bust. So again, go-to dress, it's really nice. I do have to take out a good inch all the way out of the back on both sides to get it to fit me. It's got quite a wide back on it, which is unusual because the emery dress, which I've made on numerous occasions by Christine, fits me like an absolute glove. And I don't have to make any changes to that at all. So I'm quite surprised that I need to take that out of the back. I did forget, and I put the zip in, sewed it all up, put it on, and realised it was way too big, so I had to unpick the zip and take the inch out. So I have transferred it now to my pattern pieces, so if I make the dress again, I won't make that mistake. But I do love this dress. I can see myself making quite a few of these for the summer. Like the emery, I've got hundreds of them. I really enjoy making it. It's quick to make and it's very, very comfortable. So again, this is another go-to dress. Christine's patterns are second to none. You can't fault them, and they have excellent instructions in them and really nice and clear and easy to follow. So I can highly recommend making the Sylvie dress. So I'm going to go and change again now for you and show you another dress. Hello there, so this is my shift dress that I promised I would make you. It's the one from the vintage pattern, which is a Simplicity 7599. So it is a set size. It's a miss with a size 14, bust 36. So obviously this is a vintage pattern, so they do come up fairly small. I'm now a 10-12 in regular clothes. And this is the one that we've now made straight out of the packet. We haven't had to make any changes to. So I've made it with the fabric that my friend brought me back from Bangkok. As I was saying in my previous vlog, I think it must be about 5-6 years ago, I'm not sure. I'm sure Jo will be able to tell me. If I pop it on Facebook later, she'll be able to tell me. But it is beautiful. It does need a wash. I haven't pre-washed it, I just steamed it before I made it. And it does need a wash because it is quite stiff, although it's a wax cotton anyway, so it will be quite a stiff, heavy fabric. I made the facings out of exactly the same fabric. Again, they're just half facings. I made them myself. The pattern comes with a little neck facing and a little arm facing. But we've made a half facing just because, again, we like it. It's a nice, neat pattern. So I'll stand up and step back. So it has got this beautiful edge all the way around the edge. Unfortunately, I wasn't clever enough when I cut it out. I didn't think about the fact that the darts would bring the fabric up, and so it doesn't pattern match, which is a real shame. It would have been really nice to have it going all the way around, but I don't think anyone will really notice. I think this is quite an elegant looking dress. I'll probably wear this if I went sort of out for dinner with friends or something like that, and didn't want to look too clubby or sort of going down the pub. It's quite smart. I think I probably will get quite a few wears out of it, but it's probably one of those ones that'll live in the wardrobe and come out once or twice a year. I don't love it actually as much as I thought I would. I don't know whether it's the neckline. I'm not sure that this height of neckline really works for me. I think I might have preferred it to have a nice gentle V-neck. So I might find I'd pull it apart and make a few changes to it, but I'm not sure. But it is a nice pattern. It's nice to have been able to fit into a vintage pattern, and yeah, very, very easy to sew up, and I certainly enjoyed making it. So we'll see how much wear I get out of this one. Okay, so this dress is one that I haven't shown you before. It's one that I made probably about 3 or 4 months ago, and for whatever reason it's been hanging in the studio and I've never got round to stitching up the back of the zip and stitching the lining down. I'd done it all by hand meticulously, and then when I tried to do the zip up it got stuck, and I had to start unpicking the zip, and I just got so cross with myself that it just got hung up and forgotten about. But I made a concerted effort last week to go into the studio and finish off some bits and pieces that had been hanging around for some time. So I carefully unpicked the lining and I actually went down and did it on the sewing machine. So it's all finished, and I think I'm going to get an awful lot of wear out of it. The fabric is, I can't remember the name of the make, but I do know it's no longer in print. Something Dash Studios, that's it. Dash Studios Tortoise, I think it's called. You can find it still on eBay or Amazon if you look around for it, but there's not a lot of shops that have got any left anymore. I actually bought this in the autumn when I went with Elspeth to Tunbridge Wells, and we went to the sewing machine shop, which is a really lovely shop. It's excellent for dressmaking. It's got loads of really nice fabrics, especially lots of knits and jerseys. So if you're in the area, it is well worth checking out. I bought this with the view to make a Tilly and the Buttons Megan with, but after I made another cotton Megan, I realised that really cotton was a bit too lightweight for that dress, and it just kept riding up every time I walked everywhere, and it drove me mad. So this went in the cupboard and hadn't been used. So when I bought myself a New Look pattern, this is New Look 6341, I thought I would give it a go. What I was looking for was a dress that was similar to the Emery dress, but it was sleeveless. It had a similar bodice. As it is, this doesn't have a similar bodice to the Emery at all. It's got two princess pleats in the front rather than any darts, and I have completely lined it, so I've made the bodice twice over. So that's a little bit of a challenge. You've got a big princess pleat on both sides of the front and a princess one on the back as well. So that's 4 in the bodice and then another 4 in the lining, and you've got to get them spot on to get them lining up well. The skirt, I'll just show you. It's got a couple of pleats in here and here, and then it's gathered in either side of the pleats. So it does fit really nicely at the low waist rather than the high waist. You can see it's just got an invisible zip in the back, and it's a fairly low back. Can you see that? Not too low though that you can't wear a bra with it. And I'm just trying to think if I put the pockets in. No, I didn't. But it has got a pocket pattern as well. There's lots of different versions to this one. I made version A, but you can do a maxi version with a nice long skirt. You can put short sleeves into it if you want to, or you can make a 3/4 length sleeve one. So it's got lots of options there. Let me have a look at that. Lots of options for you to try. One of my students, Tade, is making this at the moment in a lovely red flowery fabric, so she should have finished that in a couple of weeks or so, and we'll be able to show you that. So this is a really nice one. I think I'm going to wear this tomorrow. I've got a networking meeting to go to, and I've got a nice new bright pink pair of heels, so I think I'm going to wear this and wear a bit of a crazy frock. So I do like a fun print. So I've got one last thing to show you, and it's one of the dresses that I promised to make after my Goldhawk Road. Okay, so this pattern is a thread count pattern that I did show you ages ago on my Goldhawk Road haul, and I've made this version here with the 3 colourways, version B. Now I've made it with the silk dupion that I picked up on the Goldhawk Road. It's in a brown and then goes through. It's brown at the top, lime green and hot pink. So it's in classic corporate colours. You can see it's a really, really full poofy skirt. So as I give you a twirl, be able to see that. I do really like it, and one of the main reasons I like it is that actually, other than the zip, this dress was made for me. We've got a lovely young lady doing work experience with us at the moment called Alice. She's a daughter of a friend of mine, and she's never done any dressmaking before, so she's been busy cutting out and working behind the scenes on a lot of these vlogs, which is why I've been getting a lot of things made recently. She's been tracing off paper patterns, cutting out paper patterns, cutting out fabric, and marking darts and getting everything done for me, so all I have to do is come home and just whiz it all up. But with this dress I thought, no, do you know what, I'm going to let you have a go at making something. She didn't want to make anything for herself. She's not particularly into dresses and skirts. So as guilty as I felt, I let her make me a dress. So she's done really, really well. She's learned how to put darts in. She's learned how to do box pleats. It's got 2 box pleats at the front, another 2 at the back, and then it's gathered in around the sides. So she's done gathering stitches as well. And I have to say, when she put this gathered waist in, it took her quite a few attempts working with the silk dupe, and it moves around an awful lot, and it kept getting caught in the sewing machine, and she'd get little nicks and bits caught in, and she'd sit there with the unpicker meticulously fixing all of her mistakes. And and she did really, really well. She had a lot of patience. I did think at one point she was just going to throw it out the window, but she did really well. And every time I wear this dress now, I'm going to think of how well she did. And this is probably a dress that I'll find myself wearing when I do presentations, or I go and I do something indoors where it's nice and warm, to show off the business or market the business, rather than an everyday dress. I can already think of an occasion when I'm going to wear this in September, when I've got a presentation to do, and I'll make sure I go live on my Facebook page so that you'll be able to see it in full swing. It is a nice pattern. It came free with Love Sewing magazine, I think. I've seen lots of people make it. It was actually featured on the Sewing Bee a couple of weeks ago. I think it was either on someone's desk or knocking around in their home studio when they were being filmed from home, but Love Sewing magazine did pick up on it as well, and they did tweet about it to say, oh look, our pattern's on the Sewing Bee. So this is a Sewing Bee dress, so I'm quite pleased with it. I will get lots of wear out of it, and it's definitely a pattern I would say is fairly easy to make up. I would say probably don't attempt it in a silk tip your first time round. It isn't an easy fabric to work with. It frays like there's no tomorrow, and so you will need an overlocker to overlock the fabric, or you will end up with fluffy thread absolutely everywhere and your washing machine will not handle it. So do bear that in mind. Don't attempt to use this fabric if you've not got an overlocker. I've just lined it with just a cotton lining. It's just half lined, only the bodice is lined, the skirt's not lined. But I think it could probably do with being worn with a petticoat underneath it, so that it doesn't ride up, doesn't get too static, and it will help keep the fullness as well. So that's all of my dresses that I've got to show you. Later on this week I'm going to reveal my Prima play suit that I've been making. I'm particularly pleased with it, so I'm looking forward to showing you that. And then I'm still working behind the scenes on some of the odds and sods that I've mentioned in earlier vlogs, and so I'm sure I'll be back to show you a few more things later in the week, and then I'll get round to doing another fabric and pattern haul for you, and we'll start all over again. So I'll see you soon. Bye.
If you like to stop and smell the flowers.